evening, everyone, and welcome here to Daytona International Speedway as we get ready for our second stop at this famed 2.5-mile superspeedway for tonight's event. Race number 18 coming to you live after this event. 2 more races remain, and we will know the 12 drivers that will be battling for this season's chase for the championship, and it just keeps getting closer and closer. The scenarios of drivers that could make it in, that could just barely miss out, and we're coming here to a track that whenever we come to a superspeedway, we consider them wild card tracks. Why? Because the superspeedways, you never know who's going to win. Everybody's on a level playing field. Track position isn't exactly that huge a key factor because you can work your way from the back to the front. And, of course, we've got the dreaded big one, which always seems to shake things up. Here tonight, we could get a bit of a clearer picture of who's going to make it into the chase, or it could make the scenarios look even more cloudy for the final 2 regular season races of this year. On the point, actually on the front row, are 2 drivers that if they can go from the front row to the win, that blows the point standings wide open as to who can make the chase. Kyle Thomas lining up on the pole position here today. Thomas picking up his second pole of his career this season as he's trying to pick up his first win of his career. And alongside of him is Wade Brummer in the 0 car. Now, for Kyle Thomas coming to the race, he is 15th in the point stands. Had a good run last time we were out with these drivers at Watkins Glen. Wade Brummer, on the other hand, he's 28th in the point standings. So for either one of these guys, getting a win could really make it interesting as far as where they'd be positioned in the point standings when this evening's race is over. Let's get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
And just to throw a log on the fire of confusion, well, it's kind of close coming into today's race as far as the point stands are concerned right now. This is how the chase stands would look at this current point in time if we did not have this race tonight and 2 more races afterwards. Right now, top 2 spots in the standings for the chase obviously belong to Elijah Gilbert and Joshua Osborne with their 2 trips to victory lane so far this season. Then you got Jesse Turner, Eli Bright, Cole Deaver, James Shelley, Jordan Lopez, Christian Merrick Jr., Daniel Voyles, A Garcia, A Baranauskas with her win last time out at the Glen is now locked into the chase for the moment. And the final spot in the chase for the championship currently is held by Charlie Buxton. But listen to this. He and J Qualls are tied in the point standings. So theoretically, those 2 drivers are tied for the last spot in the chase for the Pizza Hut X Series Championship. That is how close these point standings are coming into today's race. Qualls is going to be starting off a lot higher than Buxton here tonight. He rolls off from 3rd. Buxton's going to be rolling off from around the 17th position. But like I said, this is Daytona. Track position is not necessarily a huge factor because it is so easy to work your way from the back to the front. 24 laps of racing here tonight. We split it into 3 stages, 8, 8, and 8 laps. So end of lap 8 is the end of stage 1, end of lap 16 is the end of stage 2, and the checkered flag at the completion of lap 24 is the end of our 3rd and final stage. Jesse Turner, the points leader, still coming into this race, 46 points in hand over Eli Bright. Cole Deaver is 3rd in the points with James Shelley and Jordan Lopez, your top 5. You've got a lot of drivers up there in the top 10, though, still looking for their first win of the season, including the defending champion, Benny Watson. He's 6th in points. Carson Gumbs, 7th in points. And then also P.J. Williams and Nicholas Romero, they are 9th and 10th in points. All still looking for their first win, a ticket into the chase for the championship. Could it happen here tonight? We're moments away from finding out. Kyle Thomas and Wade Brummer lead us down. Green flag is out. We're underway at Daytona. And you got to wonder if this race is going to take on the same spectrum as the Hershey's Cup Series non-charter race here did last night. Last night's event was starting to almost become a bore fest. Nobody was really able to make a move for the win, but we had about 4 lead changes in the last 3 laps of that race. So it showed you that the drivers were just kind of biding their time, picking their moments, and then waited till the very end to be able to make their moves for the checkered flag. As looks like Kyle Thomas may not lead the first lap. That inside line gets a nice push down the back straightaway. Quentin Moore, Noah Pontzer, and Alexander Rowe on that bottom line. And it will be the number 89 out in front showing the way. Now, no surprise to see Quentin Moore up front here early. He's transferred into the Hershey's Cup Series main event here tomorrow night as he ended up finishing in the top 7 in the non-charter race here last night. And the reason I had to pause there was I was waiting to look at the lights around this racetrack. I thought I saw them blinking yellow, but that was not the case. So therefore we are still under green flag conditions. Quentin Moore has gotten himself out to a bit of a gap. They were 3 wide for second between Rowe, Qualls, and Thomas. And when they start getting lined up again, that's going to allow them to reel that 89 car in very quickly. So not exactly the best position for Quentin Moore to be in. And here comes James Qualls. He's got a big run on him, and he might be able to make a move on him out of turn 4, heading here into the tri-oval. Down to the bottom comes the 27. He obviously would love to be able to lead a lap. That would be a bonus point, very valuable bonus point for him. That would help him to, at least for the moment, be at least 1 point above Charlie Buxton. Look at there. There's Buxton in the 7. So we're about to have a battle up here at the front of the field between the 2 drivers that come into tonight's race tied for that final spot in the chase for the championship. And look who else is coming up here. The number 8 of Benny Watson, defending champion, still looking for a trip to victory lane. That right now is the only hope he has for getting into the chase, and he's now in the top 5. Chris Dollerton there. Trouble in the back. We've got a wreck. The big one has struck here on lap number 3. Cars sweeping into each other in turn 3. Caution is out. Drag race to the line. Quentin Moore, James Qualls. Give it to Qualls on the high side by half a car length. That is a valuable bonus point for a lap led for that 27 car. But the big one has struck here tonight early in our Pizza Hut X Series race at Daytona. And it almost looked like one of those wrecks where there's nowhere to get through. There were a lot of cars sweeping up the racetrack there in turn 3, blocking the banking of that turn. And boy, look here in your shot. These are the lucky ones that pretty much were all in front of that wreck that happened. James Qualls out in front. And I think we will get back green before the completion of Stage 1. So Qualls will not get the Stage 1 win locked up here yet. But now is the question of would these drivers decide to come to pit road here under this caution? Because we ran caution free in what was, I think it was 16 laps in last night's Hershey's Cup Series non-charter race. And the drivers didn't have to come to pit road or anything. But it was caution free. Tonight, we get a caution flag for these drivers to be able to make pit stops under yellow rather than under green flag conditions. And we're going to have to see if they are going to take the opportunity or if they are going to stay out. And I don't see anybody coming to pit road. So we will take the opportunity now to step aside and take a look at a replay of what put us under the caution for the first time here tonight. The big one has struck at Daytona. Taking a look at this incident, even though it happened in 3, we're taking a look at what happened down the back straightaway. This actually started with our pole sitter, Kyle Thomas. He's in the middle of a 4-wide situation here. He's got Christian Merrick Jr. to his outside, just to his right rear. Daniel Voyles is alongside his left, and then lower further down, you've got Colby Jackson and Jacob Rose in the 33 and the 18. So Kyle Thomas in a very difficult position, and I don't know if he came down across the nose of Daniel Voyles or if Voyles hooked him in the left rear. Whichever the case, they make contact. They go down to Jacob Rose. Rose shoves back, and then this is what happens. They go down here towards the apron. There you see the 48 car is going to snap loose. And like I said, it looked like from real time that a car was sweeping up the track, and that's exactly what happens here. Right up in front of Voyles. Pichu Lennon drives up, tries to avoid, can't do it. Noah Pontzer, Stuart Gratton, Nick Johnson's involved. That is Ace Garcia in the 9 as Voyles' car goes up onto its side, and I think they may have wrecked further up too. We'll look at that in just a minute. Wow, that 26 car is still up in the air as our Richmond race winner. Tony Green gets involved. There's James Richardson. I see A Baranauskas involved. There's another car there too, and I can't tell who it is. There's just so much smoke, and you can see them wrecking further up there. Eli Bright, Paul Minnick, Seth Cole, and Kyle Lynch. Who was that other race car there that I could not tell who it was? I still can't see through that smoke. I guess that's still the 90 of Pichu London. Yes, it is. And that is what happens right there. Now we're going to take and we're going to quickly jump up to, let's go to the 15 of Kyle Lynch. I think this was some drivers that had gone to the apron to avoid, maybe not giving each other a whole lot of room. Yeah, watch this. Kyle Lynch actually does a good job getting through this wreck. He goes down to the inside, but the problem is, here comes Joseph Romero in the 42, not slowing down. He sideswipes the 15. 15 kind of saves it, but then gets bumped in the left rear by Joshua Osborne, and then he's going to go up the track. Osborne then runs Seth Cole out of room and sends Seth Cole up into the 15 as well, and there you see down at the bottom of your screen, I think that was Paul Minnick getting run in behind by Eli Bright in the 05 car. Look at some of those drivers doing a nice job getting through, though. J Gilbert, rather, in the 22. Well, it looks like maybe he got a little bit of damage there on the front of his discount tire 4, but M McIntire appears to have gotten through with relatively no damage. And there were a couple of drivers that went up on the outside that avoided, too. That's James Shelley and Ryan Brummer. And I believe also the 19 of Jeremy Jones also was way back behind this, and you see him there going around the outsides. But the big one has struck here, and a lot of these drivers are a lot of drivers that are former winners this season that are trying to have their win get them into the chase for the championship. You got Baranauskas, who went to victory lane last time out, A Garcia, Daniel Voyles. So this could be very interesting. Daytona doing its best to play its part into factoring into who's going to make the chase for the championship here in the second season of the Pizza Hut X Series. So as we prepare to go back green flag racing, we will actually have only one lap to go in our first stage of the evening. So this is going to be a pretty chaotic lap, no doubt about that. Julio Cesar going to line up on the inside line. He is off the lead lap, came to pit road for an unscheduled stop in the beginning stages of this race, but the good news for him is he's going to pick up a lot of spots because of the drivers that have retired due to the wreck that just took place. Out of the race from 28th on down, Kyle Thomas, Stuart Gratton, Daniel Voyles, Eli Bright, Seth Cole, J Gilbert, Kyle Lynch, Pichu London, Andre Baranauskas, along with A Garcia, J Richardson, Nick Johnson, Paul Minnick, and Tony Green. Cesar is 3 laps down, so he will be guaranteed finishing no worse than 27th as he is still running, and he will bypass the cars that are in the garage area, and some are still on pit road, probably going to be pushed back to the garage area momentarily. J Qualls will line up as the leader on this restart, looking for his second win of the season. He was a 2-time winner last year as well in the then Almond Joy series. Then you got Quentin Moore. He's been out in front a couple of laps here tonight. He is going to line up second. Charlie Buxton there in third with Alexander Rowe and Chris Dollerton. That is your top 5. Jesse Turner, Wade Brummer, Benny Watson, Pichu London, PJ Williams rather, and Colby Jackson. That is your top 10 as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here on lap number 8. Next time by, the completion of stage 1, J Qualls would obviously love to get 10 valuable bonus points as he continues to try to progress his way up through the point standings after his win a few weeks ago. Quentin Moore on his back bumper, though. Quentin wants those bonus points for himself. Got a gap there from Moore back to Charlie Buxton. Now Buxton under fire from Alexander Rowe. J Qualls under fire from Quentin Moore. And can he get to the inside? Yes, he can. Side by side for the race lead. This could be a very interesting battle heading to the start-finish line. Can Qualls pull back up alongside before they get back to the start-finish line? He's trying. This is going to be a photo finish. Who's going to win the first stage? Looks like Quentin Moore is going to get a nice side draft there, and he will win stage number 1 here tonight. Qualls will be second. And the rest of the drivers that will get points here tonight for the completion of the first stage: Alexander Rowe, Charlie Buxton, Wade Brummer, PJ Williams, Jesse Turner, Chris Dollerton, Christian Merrick Jr. up to 9th now with Colby Jackson there in 10th. And of course we should keep our eyes on that number 20 of Christian Merrick Jr. because the last time we were out at a super speedway, it was Talladega Super Speedway, and Christian Merrick Jr. picked up his first career win. Now the field begins to bunch back up here again. Alexander Rowe has PJ Williams in tow. And now J Qualls. Wow. What a slick move that was to the inside. No chance for Quentin Moore to throw the block. Qualls will not lead that lap, but he will have the inside line advantage heading down here into turn number 1. Look who else is working his way up here. Long time no see, Matthew Daleo working his way to the front at a Daytona race. Now, Matthew Daleo is a former winner at Daytona, but that was back in the first season when he won the season opener in a photo finish against then driver of the number 07, Caitlin Sang. That 12 car starting to work his way up towards the front right now. He is somewhere right now in the, I think it's about unofficially I should say, in the 7th position. We talked about drivers that come into this race like Benny Watson without a win. Well, another driver, P.J. Williams, right there battling for second. Williams 9th in the point standings. Another driver that was up here and has kind of faded back a bit is Carson Gum. I think he's still barely in the lead pack, but he hasn't really made a charge up here to the front. Whereas his JD Motorsports teammate in the 0, Wade Brummer, has been up here inside the top 10 for pretty much this whole thing so far. P.J. Williams has Matthew Daleo right behind him, and now he's got him to his inside as Daleo will make it 3 wide for the second position going into turn 3. One thing that they did to kind of fix the racing here with something that we saw in last night's Hershey's Cup Series non-charter race was they have kind of fixed the race cars in terms of their settings so that way they don't do that huge checkup on the inside line out of 3. You notice there where Matthew Daleo made a move to the inside 3 wide and he actually kept his foot in the throttle off of 3 and made the pass. So that is a fix they have made here to the track so that way we actually get some good racing here and we don't have that checkup constantly happen. Here comes P.J. Williams. For a moment there, it looked like he was going to be helping Matthew Daleo get a run on James Qualls, but now P.J. Williams uses that momentum instead to his advantage, and he will go to the inside for second. Quentin Moore is going to offer the drafting help down on the bottom, but all this right now going on behind the 27 of James Qualls. His teammate Joshua Osborne is already a 2-time winner this season, so Qualls right now trying to pick up his 2nd win of the season and 4th win of season 2 overall for the Joanna Atwood Motorsports team. Mentioned that last season James Qualls went to victory lane twice in that 27 car. He made it into the chase for the championship. And right now, what a time for him to be on a hot streak in the closing stages of the regular season. Watching that, I don't know what color you'd call that, like a chartreuse green maybe, I don't know. That Hisense Toyota Camry of Christian Merrick Jr. because you know he is back there just waiting in the wings. And meanwhile, up at the front, it's a battle for the lead once again. This time Quentin Moore to the inside on James Qualls, and Moore will take the spot going into 1. Got a couple of names up here we haven't talked about that we really should, because if they win, they could put themselves in position for a chase spot. Daleo in the 12 car comes into this race 32nd in the points. Quentin Moore 33rd. They could move into the top 30 in the points with a win here tonight. Alexander Rowe, he comes into this race 31st in points. We already talked about P.J. Williams. We've already talked about Benny Watson. Another driver I noticed back there that's running very solidly is that 17 of Jonathan Zoerlein. He's 25th in points. The thing right now for those drivers that I mentioned, though, is the fact that the drivers that came in currently tied for that final spot in the chase for the championship between Qualls and Buxton. They were 21st and 22nd coming into tonight's race. So if I look at that and I look up here at the front of any drivers that could play havoc into them making the chase for the championship, the only two that I see are the 8 and the 46 of Watson and Williams. Everybody else that's up here that doesn't have a win is not running ahead of Buxton or Qualls in the point standings. And we are on the last lap of our second stage of the evening. And James Qualls this time does not want to be denied. Quentin Moore got the checkered flag at the end of the first stage. James Qualls getting by him and now has to hold off P.J. Williams and Matthew Daleo to get 10 valuable bonus points here for the completion of this stage. Daleo's going to go to the inside on P.J. Williams, so that may just hand over those 10 points to the 27 car, as it looks like he will be the one out of turn 4 that will come to the start-finish line. Look at Quentin Moore. He got a heck of a run there through 3 and 4, and he tried to go to the top side with it. Not going to be able to do much with it, though, as he'll tuck behind Quentin Moore, and James Qualls will win the second stage here tonight at Daytona. And it sounds like we may have some traffic for these drivers to have to deal with in a minute here. Of course, a number of drivers getting involved in that big wreck that took place back on lap 3, still continuing on, and that might have been, was that Paul Minnick in the 1? I couldn't tell. It almost looked like it was Paul Minnick, but then again, it might not have been. Nope, that is the 88 of Ryan Brummer. They're going to catch him right here out of turn 4. Oh, where are they going to go? Got to pick a line. And Quentin Moore's going to use the 88 as a pick. Puts J Qualls in the middle. And here comes Quentin Moore for the top position. And boy, did that just bunch everybody back up. Whoa, Jesse Turner. And PJ Williams almost getting into each other back there as they tried getting around the 88. And here's the battle for the lead. First time tonight, we're going to be saying the name Wade Brummer out in front as he gets pushed there by Charlie Buxton, Jonathan Zoerlein, and Christian Merrick Jr. And now here comes Buxton for the race lead. Went to victory lane a few weeks ago at the Springfield Mile, first win of his career, and now he's going to go out in front leading the way here at Daytona. Zoerlein right there in second. Christian Merrick Jr.'s got Matthew Daleo behind him. That's quite a deadly drafting duo. And J Qualls back to the inside line there as well. And if they continue to race like this, you got to wonder if maybe guys back there like Jesse Turner, Alexander Rowe, Chris Dollerton, Benny Watson, they're going to have time to be able to catch back up to this group. They're going to have 5 laps to do it when we hit the stripe next time by, and they're going to go 3 wide again for the race lead, so that means that it's going to make it even more possible for them to catch up. Qualls to the bottom, Zoerlein in the middle, Buxton rim riding on the high side through 3. And for a moment there, Matthew Daleo running almost a middle groove between the middle and low line. I thought for a moment we might be having some drivers indicating they were coming to pit road, and that's why he was running a little bit higher, but nope, that's not the case. Rowe is caught back up. Williams is caught back up. Turner is caught back up. They keep racing like this. Benny Watson and Chris Dollerton will be back up in the mix. Matthew Daleo, a 3-time winner last year. So far this season, 0 in the win column. Colby Jackson there in the 33 trying to get Richard Childress racing its second straight victory. His teammate Andres Baranauskas went to victory lane last time out at Watkins Glen. Top 2 have broken away, at least for the moment. Qualls and Daleo as they battle for 3rd place on back. Watson, it looks like, has caught the draft. He'll catch back up to this lead pack as we have 4 laps to go here tonight at Daytona. Daleo, for the moment, seems content to ride behind the Castrol GTX Chevrolet, but you gotta know he's strategizing. He's waiting for his moment. Maybe he's waiting for that group behind him to catch up. Then he'll use the momentum they have to try and get by Qualls. Look at this, peeking out just a little bit, trying to get cool air to the front of that race car to cool the engine down so he doesn't over-rev it, drafting directly behind J Qualls Chevrolet. And here comes PJ Williams now about to make it a 3-man party at the front. Three laps to go here at Daytona. Qualls looking for his 2nd win of the season, but he's got 2 hungry drivers behind him that are looking for their 1st win of Season 2. 3 wide back there for the 4th position, and as they continue to battle that way, and the top 3 are single file, that's just going to allow the top trio to be able to continue to increase their gap. There's a lot of traffic up ahead, but it's about a full straightaway ahead of these guys, and I don't think they're going to encounter them within the next 2.5 laps. So now the question is, would PJ Williams be willing to push Matthew Daleo by J Qualls? For Matthew Daleo, not only wanting to get a win, but work into the top 30 in the points. For PJ Williams, a win may guarantee him a spot in the chase for the championship. And he will go for 2nd place on Daleo. 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Quentin Moore now about to catch up to this group as they battle for 2nd place. Qualls going to have to do a lot of mirror driving in the next 1.5 laps. He's He's already won the second stage. He'd love to win the final stage. 2 wins would automatically lock him up into the chase for the championship, along with Elijah Gilbert and his teammate Joshua Osborne, who also have been to victory lane 2 times this season. Oh boy, look at this. PJ Williams, Matthew Daleo, Quentin Moore, they're all lined up, and they're getting a big run on Qualls as the white flag will be displayed this time. Will it be Qualls, Williams, Daleo, or Moore who will lead us back to the checkers? Daleo steps out on PJ Williams. That's for second. Williams hanging tough, and he's got Quentin Moore offering the drafting help. Will it be enough here? Now Quentin Moore switches lanes. He goes to the bottom, helping the 12. And if Quentin Moore doesn't step out, Matthew Daleo may have a big run here going into 3 and 4. James Qualls going to have to do a lot of mirror driving here in the final corner. Through 3 and 4, Daleo continues to try to close the gap. They're trying to get the run. Will Quentin Moore stick with the 12? Down the trioval for the final time. Moore dives to the inside, and James Qualls will hang on. Win number 2 of the season, and he's locked into the Pizza Hut X Series chase for the championship. And that is the 2nd win of the season for James Qualls, 4th win of his Pizza Hut X Series career, and 4th win of the season for the 2 Joanna Atwood Motorsports machines. It was 5 weeks ago, even though it was only 3 venues ago, that James Qualls picked up his first win of the season. Not only getting him a win, but getting him into the top 30 in the point standings. And now, 3 races later, his 2nd win comes at Daytona, and he has now locked himself up a spot in the chase for the Pizza Hut X Series Championship, provided he stays in the top 30 in the points. But to be honest, I don't see how he can fall outside the top 30 in the points with only 2 races remaining. So we now know Gilbert, Osborne, and Qualls are officially going to be 3 of the 12 drivers that will battle for the championship. The other ones, we still don't know. We still got 2 more races to go. Session complete. Quentin Moore, Matthew Daleo, PJ Williams. Was there anything they could have done with Qualls? I don't know, but they weren't willing to work together to find out. Daleo will come away with his best finish of the season in 2nd. Quentin Moore brings it home 3rd. PJ Williams in 4th. He's still going to be inside the top 10 in the points, but right now, PJ Williams still with a 0 in the win column. That will not get him into the chase for the championship. Charlie Buxton. Wow. Charlie Buxton brings it home in the position. Great run for him. So both James Qualls and Charlie Buxton today worked their way up in the point standing, so this will put both of them in good stead as far as their points positioning. Alexander Rowe brings it home 6th. Colby Jackson 7th. How about Wade Brummer? Consistent night. Never really fell outside the top 10. Very good run for that JD Motorsports number 0 after starting the outside of the front row. He brings it home 8th. Christian Merrick Jr. in 9th, and Jonathan Zoerlein will complete the top 10. Pretty much everybody else was starting to lose the draft. Jesse Turner, I think, was the last car in the lead pack. He finishes 11th. Benny Watson and Chris Dollerton were the only ones still within striking distance in 12th and 13th, and everybody else was way, way back from 14th on. Jacob Rose, Carson Gum, Jordan Lopez, Cole Deaver, William Brock, Nicholas Romero, Matt McIntire. That was your top 20. The rest of the cars that finished on the lead lap were James Shelley, Joseph Romero, Elijah Gilbert, Joshua Osborne, Noah Pontzer, and Michael Haas. Finishing 1 lap down was Ryan Brommer in 27th. 3 laps down was Julio Cesar in 28th. And then everybody else out of the race after the big one that took place on lap 3. Kyle Thomas, Stuart Gratton, Voyles, Bright, Cole, Gilbert, Lynch, London, Baranauskas, Garcia, Richardson, Johnson, Minnick, and Green. Obviously the big ones that we would have to point out there are Voyles, Bright, Baranauskas, and Garcia, because they are all former winners this season that are inside the top 30 in the point standings. You got to wonder where their DNFs tonight are going to situate them heading into next week's race. But nonetheless, folks, we have ourselves a very interesting scenario now. James Qualls will be able to race the next 2 races worry-free. He's just got to keep himself in the top 30 in the point standings, and he's already locked into the Pizza Hut X Series chase for the championship. We know Joshua Osborne, Elijah Gilbert as well, but what about the other 9 drivers? Do we know yet who they are going to be, or has somebody not yet emerged into the picture of getting into the championship? We'll never know until after the checkered flag waves at our season finale. we're going to be taking yet another off week next week, as we're going to be having just the Hershey's Cup Series once again, and then we have our next to last race of the season for the Pizza Hut X Series. That is going to be taking place at, believe it's, is it Kentucky? No, at Salem. We're going to be going to Salem for that race. Then they got another off week to the Pizza Hut X Series, and then it's our regular season finale at Kentucky Speedway for these drivers. We're having the regular season finale at M&M Super Speedway for the Hershey's Cup Series drivers. So, a little interesting shake-up there on the schedule, but our regular season finale going to be at Kentucky for these guys. So, next two stops for these guys, Salem, the short track, and then Kentucky Speedway. Hope you tune in for those events. Tomorrow night, we cap things off for this weekend with our Hershey's Cup Series main event. That should be a wild one. Hope you'll tune in for that, as the chase for the championship in that series is also coming down to the wire. We will see you guys then, as you've been watching Production NCRA Offline Racing at its best. Here's your point standings heading into next week. We will see you guys next time. Till then, I'm out.